gonna go run 8 miles. So let me put my glove on and get started. Should be nice and dark for the beginning of this, and then we'll see from there. Let me fix one thing. I hate that that's the setting. We want all messages. Now you're like, your wife's in labor. Why are you running? Oh, my wife's been in labor for 4 or 5 days. We had a botched induction. And in Japan, they don't let you stay at the hospital for the spouse, except during working hours. So here we are. Father-in-law flew in from the U.S. to Japan, which is super cool. So he's watching the kids. It's 5 a.m. and I figured I'd go for a run. My wife's contractions are pretty intermittent and mild. So she's under observation at the hospital. She's got, yo, Eliza, how's it going? I almost went to Elijah. I remember we talked about that. Hey, I'm sorry I haven't been. Hey, no, you're fine. I haven't gone live in like 2 weeks or so. It's been super intermittent because we're having a baby. So that's a thing. Oh, nice to see you. I'm like, I gotta find my pace. Actually, I haven't run in like 4, 5 days. I'm trying to remember if I did a recovery run or not. I think I did. But nice to see you. How are things in your world, Elijah? Anything exciting? This is one of my favorite areas. Like big mansions. It'd be cool to see what they look like inside. I think there's not a McLaren, what's that thing? Maserati over there. No, one of the only things I'm concerned about on this run, among many things, is just like I've been eating crap food the last 4 days of going back and forth to the hospital every day to hang out with my wife. So we'll see if I have gas in the tank for this run or not. It's one of those weird things where like you gotta take care of yourself to take care of other people. And these runs are that for me. But I'm definitely sore. Love this road. I don't like the car noise, but when it's empty, it's like super symmetric. One of my favorite like overpasses. One of the things Japan does really well is like a lot of their roads go underground, under intersections. So it keeps through traffic on major roads moving through. And if you want to make a left or a right, you kind of like exit from the main road. And the intersection is above that underpass. Oh man, I'm gonna have to speak some affirmations over myself today. I don't want to be out here. I got such a foggy, clouded mind. I don't know. This is, what is it? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is the 5th day that my wife's been in the hospital trying to have a baby. I've been going in and out of the hospital every day, trying to take care of her, trying to take care of the kids. Yo, what are you doing? Running from my demons. I'm just kidding. I'm running 8 miles in Tokyo. I know my wife has a whole bunch of, oh, good luck, thanks, bud. My wife has a whole bunch of complications in her pregnancy. Gestational diabetes, which it's like you're only diabetic when you have a baby, and it impacts how your body processes sugar, both for the mother and the child. So it already puts her in kind of like a high risk category, and then she got like an emergency induction because she was had elevated blood pressure at like 37 weeks. And in Japan, they do inductions different than the US, where they try to like stimulate labor. In the US, they normally use a couple different chemicals. One's like ProPress, which, if any of you, I work in medical, so I use medical language. So, sorry if that's weird for y'all, but like ProPress, basically you have something called a cervix. Well, not everyone does, women have them. And that's what holds the baby inside. The baby's in the uterus, which the exit is through the cervix, and they talk a lot about dilation, which is like the cervix starts off like a closed tube, and it's long, and then as you progress in labor, it'll shorten and get really thin, and then dilate or open like an iris until it gets to 10 centimeters. That's when you can normally push and have a baby. That's super cool. Ooh, are you going to the hospital? Yeah, I'm gonna run 8 miles to the hospital. No, I'm gonna go today. I can only go during normal visiting hours. We'll get to the why. But yes, my wife is in labor. So anyway, ProPress is supposed to like stimulate contractions lightly and dilate the cervix. Didn't really work with Felicia. And then they also use something called Pitocin, which creates very strong contractions, and they normally ramp that up every 30 minutes. So you're kind of opening the valve like the hose, and increasing the intensity of contractions, and those two things, you have a baby. In the US, they use both those drugs in parallel. It's very uncomfortable. They ramp it up pretty aggressively. And once they, in Japan, they actually separate those two medical procedures. Or at least they did in Felicia's case. One reason being, she hyped her. So they're trying to progress her labor. They don't want to elevate her blood pressure, and stress elevates blood pressure. So they actually, she was slightly dilated, like 2 centimeters or something. So then rather than using ProPress to increase dilation, they just used Pitocin for trying to get contractions progressing. So we did like a induction on a Friday, hospitalized on a Thursday. And then, hi friends, I'm talking about my wife. She's in labor. I'm running 8 miles in Japan. We'll get to how these things can reach, but gonna be a dad soon, maybe. Welcome to Tokyo. So, anyway, they split the procedure. They hit the Pitocin first, which is crazy. And she started having pretty strong contractions. But as they got towards 6 o'clock at night in Japan, because of staffing, they actually control when you can and can't have a baby to some extent. And they don't deliver babies over weekend. I mean, unless the body just says, like, go. So they ramped her up. She's having contractions. 6 o'clock comes by. People look at their watch and they're like, hey, I gotta go home. It's the weekend. Let's not keep going. We're like, what? So, you know, you're in this mindset of you're about to have a baby. And then you're like, I guess I'm not having a baby. But then because of her risk profile, they had to keep her, which is super challenging because we got 3 kids at home. So there's that separation. And they don't let the husband stay unless she's in active labor or an active induction. So Thursday night, admitted to the hospital and monitored. Friday morning, induction from 7 a.m. until about 6 p.m. Then it's like, never mind, go take a shower. Because she didn't progress enough. And they're like, we'll try on Saturday. So on Saturday then, they just used the ProPress, which is what they call cervix strengthening. Whew, good run so far. A little quick, I might have to work on pacing. Yeah, we'll see. Well, this run honestly is more therapy for me than anything. I'm not too hung up on the distance. It'll be dark for a little bit. We should catch a sunrise on the back end of the river if I actually make it to 2.5 or 3.5 miles as my turnaround. And the total workout would be 5 to 7 miles. I'm still trying to get to that elusive 8. There's just too much crap going on. Let's keep running. Woo! Breathing for a second. I'm telling too many stories. Do a couple more double breaths. All right, cool. So, anyway, the next day on Saturday, they start using ProPress for cervix ripening. It's supposed to create contractions. It doesn't create any contractions for another 8-hour induction. Induction part 2 doesn't really progress the cervix much either from a dilation perspective. And they're like, okay, well, it's the weekend. Your body's not ready. Your heart rate's within safe limits, so yeah, we don't have to progress towards C-section. We want to keep things at safe levels. We have staffing issues if you end up having a baby right now, so you just stay here and we'll stop the induction again. So as soon as they cut ProPress and circulatory, Felicia moved out of like the birthing suite into just like a mini hotel hospital room. It's for like postpartum normally. Postpartum's just after you have a baby. So she's like prepartum, hasn't had the baby, but in postpartum stay. And then every hour they check her heart rate. They do fetal monitoring, so they check the baby's heart rate. So this Sunday, they're like, well, we're not going to continue the induction until Tuesday. So I was stuck at the hospital, like right when they stop ProPress and start getting her ready to move to this hotel kind of room. She starts having legitimate contractions, like strong ones at like 2-minute intervals. Where like, if they had wired her into Pitocin and started ramping her up, like we could have held our baby by 10 o'clock at night, midnight, because we know how her body works. She's had multiple inductions to have every kid. It's her first kid. But it's like in the Japanese hospital process, it's very different metrics on how they approach this kind of stuff, which is wild. It's not wrong, it's just different. For them, they low risk, they want to make sure they have the right clinicians on site. They're not nearly as concerned about the cost of stay. I think her room is like $250 a night. You compare that with like a US hospital stay. It's wild. Wildly cheap. It's terribly frustrating for us because with each induction, Felicia and I were prepared for the journey she'd have to navigate in order for us to hold baby number 4, baby Akio. And the hospital system's like, nah, we don't do babies on the weekend. Let's just wait till Tuesday. You're like, what? So, got through Sunday. There's no induction. I'm only allowed to go to normal visiting office hours. Felicia's contractions decreased after about 2 hours of activity from the pro press. They went from every 2 minutes with strong contractions back down to like super intermittent, mild. So her body's like, having a baby. Not having a baby, never mind. Like, the process gave her body time to change its mind. So she just chilled, watched some movies on Netflix. Each night I've gotten to go home, help with the kids, help the father-in-law get set up. Sunday we actually took all the kids to the hospital so they could go see Mom, who's on. Today marks day 5 of captivity. So today I'll drop the kids off for school after this run. Go out to Shibuya, fix my broken phone because I'm not allowed to be at the hospital with my wife, who's having a baby. It's weird. It's different. And then we will come back. I'll help pick up the kids at about 3 o'clock. I'll probably leave them with the father-in-law. Let them figure out dinner together. And then I will go to the hospital around 4, hang out with Felicia 4 to 8. And that's all assuming her labor doesn't kick off naturally today, as this would be day 5 since induction has started. It's only 5 days of labor, man. The first baby was 43 hours of labor, which we thought was wild. I don't even know how many hours we're at. What's 24 times 5? 20 times 5 is 100. 4 times 5 is 20. 120 hours of labor. No, it hasn't all been like super intense full go labor, but it's something. It counts. It's still hard. It's a long time being uncomfortable, long time being poked and prodded, having an IV, having stuff tied around your belly, having people check on you every hour. Like, it's a pretty long hospital stay. So that's what my wife's navigating. Dude, how's it going? Do you plan on going to the hospital? Yeah, I'm running there right now. It's 8 miles away. I got this. No, I was playing. No, I do plan on going. I've visited my wife every day that she's been in labor. This is day 5. Now, she won't be progressed with any kind of intervention today because Japan doesn't do inductions unless they're like scheduled, which is a new concept for me. So I'll take the kids to school this morning, get fix my phone, and then pick him up from school, hand him off to the father-in-law around 4, get to the hospital at 4:30, hang out with the missus until 8 p.m., and then that's when they normally kick me out. Again, this is all under the assumption, right, that nothing progresses. In the event that all of a sudden she's fully dilated, having strong contractions, at like 2-minute, 1-minute intervals, sorry, I got hiccups, then I will be going to the hospital immediately in that situation. But for now we wait. She is captive to the hospital based on higher blood pressure, which is just brutal for her. Sorry. Everyone's catching up with me. We're about a mile and I don't want to be generous enough to say a mile and a half. Probably maybe 1.4, 1.3 miles in on a nice 8-mile run. Let's see if I do the full 8. Honestly, I'm just here to talk and give myself a therapy session. Running's kind of inconsequential. We'll see what I actually do in that space. I'm still focused on form, but I got a lot more in my mind right now than running with perfect form. Maybe that's what I should focus on. So, Felicia's on day 5, being in the hospital, trying to have a baby. We'll connect. If her body tracks the same way, she might dilate a little bit more today. We don't know. But then tomorrow, drop the kids off at school, head straight to the hospital, and they'll probably kickstart an induction. And hopefully, on Tuesday, they intend to commit to the process for Felicia's sake, for all our sake. They don't waste time. Hit it with the ProPrex, hit it with the Pitocin, ramp that sucker up, hold the child. That would be 6 days of labor, which is just outlandish. So let's see. What? Yeah. My wife's been in labor for at this point 5 days. It's pretty wild. And because of rules, I can't be with her except during business hours. Joe Smith, if you missed pieces of the story, feel free to check back on this live from the start, because it is just absolutely wild how the Japanese healthcare system works compared to US. They've started and stopped inductions with my wife twice. This will be the 3rd round on Tuesday, because they only do deliveries when they have proper staffing. Unless the body says a baby's happening, has to happen right now. If there's an emergency, yes, they can deliver a baby. But if you're within safe limits and the induction isn't tracking to that timeline perfectly, they're like, nah, how about in 5 days? We're like, what? But we still need to keep you here and monitor you because your blood pressure. So my wife's been trapped at a hospital. I mean, it's a huge privilege. She's safe, baby's safe. Our kids are pretty well taken care of. Father-in-law flew in from the US to Japan to help. Everything's working. But from an expectation to reality, we did not expect 5 days, 6 days of labor off and on. With the family kind of divided and separated. We were planning on hey friends, can you float our kids for a quick evening? We're gonna go have a baby and we'll be right back. And that's been like an ongoing week of logistics to figure it out. And I work in like med tech. I work on surgical innovation for Johnson & Johnson. So it's been really, really interesting to just study the vast differences in maternal care in Japan versus US. I don't have a threshold of which is quote unquote better, but they seem to value different things, which is really, really interesting. Because when you're designing new technology solutions, you have to consider what clinicians and patients and hospital organizations value if you want to make new solutions that help people. So I'm actually like, my wife's suffering physically, emotionally from all this go, no go situations with the baby. And it's just so taxing for her. And I was like, oh, what if there's these different products, digital tools or things to better inform her through the process so that I could calm a lot of these anxieties. And we're also having a baby in Japan, so it's like so much is lost in translation just based on where we personally have limits with our understanding of Japanese, where they have limits with their ability to speak English. Like, we're all meeting in the middle, trying to find common understanding. But the process of her delivery is just, it's a nightmare on a lot of fronts. There's a bright side to it, which is like, in the US, she'd have a baby by now. It's possible in the US she would have had a C-section by now, based on how they escalate certain things. And again, it's hard to say better or worse in some of these things. In the US, there's very strong economic drivers that dwarf some of the health and safety factors. In Japan, there's a higher emphasis on health, safety, risk, which dwarf the financial factors. All factors in both situations, in both contexts, matter, but the patient treatment paths are diverse enough that you have different outcomes. And the outcome my wife's navigating is early admittance to the hospital, monitoring for a long time, 3 attempts at induction, no C-section, but also a very drawn out, emotionally fatiguing process. You know, and like, it just seeds all these fears and thoughts and insecurities. Are we ever gonna have this baby? Are we ever gonna finish this journey? Is there something wrong with me? Right? Also, dosing is likely different in Japan than US with these pharmaceuticals. I don't have data yet to support it. I plan on finding it. But typically, Japanese have a much lower BMI, body mass index, than folks in the US. And they metabolize different drugs at a different rate. It's typically related to BMI, not always. Pharmaceuticals is a mix of hard science and randomness, just based on variation from person to person. There's a lot of factors that go into the effectiveness of a labor-inducing drug, or even anesthesia. All these different things can affect people differently. That's why when you see a commercial for Prozac or any pharmaceutical, you see like a huge list of adverse events and side effects, things that could happen. Because while rare, those things actually could happen because people are so different, even though there's a lot of commonality. I think in Japan, the dosing is likely connected to a Japanese BMI. So a lot of their safety limits and where they would start an induction dose, stop an induction dose, feels lighter than what the standard dosing for effectiveness in the US is. What I mean by that is when my wife's had inductions in the US, she could immediately feel some of these drugs and the effects they had on her body to progress the birth. And in Japan, it takes what seems like a lot longer for similar effects and not even like really get into there. So there could be differences in safety limits based on her heart rate, could be BMI linked, but because she's a heavier BMI than most average mothers in Japan, I think there's been some issues with how they've approached the induction, what their safety limits are. And a lot of these limits are set and locked by the medical academic community for all the hospitals in Japan. And they typically standardize on it. And then from a risk perspective, if there's an unexpected side effect or a adverse event or anything like that, then as a clinician, your liability is covered because you didn't break outside the process or the standard. So for them, Felicia hit a process limit and she was enough days early in her pregnancy and her dilation was low enough and her heart rate was controlled enough that they're like, yeah, we'll just try this again in a couple days. Stay in the hospital. Which I think decision making feels very different than from the 3 births she's had in the US with similar circumstances. Now I'm sure in the US they also probably have various safety thresholds, standards of care. But again, if they're different from a BMI perspective, well, explains why her body didn't start getting to the right thresholds to actually deliver the baby. Then you have that compound with process around staffing and all these other pieces. But that's why Felicia's on day 5 of labor and I'm out here running alone in the dark. Because of process, rules, different safety, thresholds, targets, values, all that kind of stuff. It's wild. Wild indeed. Whew. We're on to my favorite bridge. So friends, we are just about to hit 2.5 miles. So actually I'm progressing quite well. Haven't stopped. Haven't hit a gooey pack yet. Haven't needed any kind of bathroom emergency. So 10 out of 10. I've just had a ton on my mind, so this is more for me to kind of verbalize and process through all these pieces. And honestly, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy indeed. Pretty crazy. But it's quiet outside. Japan's nice right now. No, I'm totally feeling the run, okay? But I'm just kind of putting my body on autopilot. There's definitely a couple things I can do better. But we actually had a pretty clean run today, which is great. See how far I push. Tempted to go for 8, but I gotta get the kids to school. Don't want nobody freaking out. Whew. Especially when you go for a run without telling people. That's awesome. That means if we successfully return home, we're at a minimum of 5 miles. And every half mile we run forward adds a mile to our total. Because there's the whole run back. So, making excellent progress. We've entered the focus zone. It's great. Cleared my head. Focusing on the journey now. If we get under that train, onto that bridge, march 3 miles or 5K. Run it back, that's a 10K, 6 miles. I like to see if I can run a bit past that bridge. We'll see how all this tracks out. Gotta make myself focus back here. Woo. Sore. Definitely sore. They're down below us. Looks like a high school sports team. cardio and form, holding up far better than I expected. There's still room to burn out, like any good workout, but I'm gonna stay in it. I'm gonna see how far I go out. It doesn't matter like how much margin do I want on the home front to get these kids off to school and back again. And we have a helper coming this afternoon to help zero out the house from like a dishes, laundry, toy pickup perspective. So like part of it's like, am I willing to use that margin to take care of myself right now? Push a little farther. So my turnaround point is still unsure. You cut it back now at 3 miles. That'll give us a nice 6 mile run today. We can push out to 3.5. Give us a nice 7 mile run. We can push to 4 and get that elusive 8 pre-baby. The 4 is tempting, but I don't want the responsibility of the kids to fall fully on the father-in-law. And just because I feel fresh now doesn't mean I feel fresh when I turn things around. So I think, again, we've had this conversation. Running to the 8, it's a little irresponsible from a timing perspective. I should try to get back before 7 a.m. So I think that pushes 8 out. Now, right now, right under this bridge, this marks like the 3 mile point. That means if I cut it back right now, we would land at 6 miles, which that's a clean 10K. Definitely nothing to be ashamed of. But based on where my body's tracking from a strength, cardio, flexibility, and lack of pain perspective, I think I'm good. I think I could at least get out to the 3.5 marker and then cut it back. And that'll get me a nice 7 mile run. Good 1 hour, 45 minutes of cardio. Help me fully clear my head. Get all my expectations and reality aligned. And still be reasonable with the other responsibilities I have. For instance, on the home front, right? So let's get this sorted. Let's keep going. All right, so we passed 3 mile turnaround. I could do it by time. If I just add 7 minutes from where I was, put me at 56. It's probably 3.5 mark. So we've been running super steady. Super steady today. Very clean run, which I deeply appreciate. Oh, man. So we're basically running out towards the garden. It's hard because I don't have my normal phone. I broke my phone. So I don't have my run tracker. I'm literally going off of memory of having done this track so many freaking times. I just know. I know what the halfway point is 4 or 5 mile run, a 6 mile run, a 7 mile run, 8 mile run, and that 8 mile so elusive. It's frustrating, honestly, because I want it, but I gotta have my physical journey fit within the confines of my work life, my husband life, my kids life, my grad school life, my faith life, and all these other pieces. I can't just go disappear and run for forever. So it sounds fun. We're very close to 3.5 now. Very, very close. No, I'm not gassed, but it's definitely some legitimate fatigue. Some of my muscle groups. My right front quad, my left shoulder blade, my right sciatica, the left outside of my foot, the right heel, lower back steady. I'll always take that. That's awesome. So, we're just progressing our broken bag of bones onward to destiny. The best that we were able. And maybe one or 3 minutes left going straight. It's loosely by this tower. It's like a tower and a beautiful little garden that all the old folks in Japan take care of. I think Japan has a lot of these like communal gardens where I have no idea like who owns them, who's allowed to plant in them and take care of it, if they pay for a little plot, if it's shared, if it's part of the Oji-san Association, like the Grandpa Association. There's a lot of, I don't know, in that space, which is cool. When we get to the turnaround, by the way, I'm just going to turn and cut it back. I'm going to try to keep the same pace, the same energy, because there's always this emotional deflating that occurs when you hit the turnaround, because you realize, like, there's an accomplishment of halfway done. There's a dread that you're not at 3/4 done. At least it's something I always feel of, like, when we push this far out here, we gotta push all the way back. Normally my pace slackens. It's just a fight. So here we go. We're gonna cut it at that white sign. It's gotta be close enough to 3.5 miles to get credit. And I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna take a couple nice strides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Stride it out. Lengthen my pace. I'm gonna try to run out to this tower thing on the right at a nice open stride. High cardio. And then we're gonna transition into my power breaths, which are just wind off breathing. I'll do 5 to 10 and try to space them out. Drop the pace in the throttle. 3. Breathe deep. 4. 5. Don't worry about the chafe you got. 6. Too personal. 7. 8. 9. 10. Brilliant. Now we're just gonna hold pace. Fantastic. 5:55. 3.5 miles to go. Less than that. Which we know we can run in about 50 minutes or so. So we'll get back around 7ish. Should have adequate time. Get the kids fed. It's donut day. Kids get donuts. Today, it's a treat. I will be eating my 5 scrambled eggs with Hokkaido butter, protein shake with a smashed banana, and a large salad with bean sprouts. Because I'm psychotic. But the kids get donuts. Oh, beautiful, beautiful run. So, if anyone's curious about the title, if anyone's still here, my wife's in labor right now. She's on day 5 of being in the hospital. Hoping to have a baby in the next 48 hours. But in Japan, I'm not allowed to stay at the hospital unless she's in very active labor. So, we're stuck here. There we go. So, this run is super smooth. It's a part of me, there's always a part of me that wants to walk, get a gooey pack in, chill out. I can totally do that. Honestly, my body's holding up fairly well. Whew, big rock. So I kind of want to, if I can, stay on pace. See how far I can get, because once I start rummaging in my pocket, or gooey packet, trying to put the phone in another pocket, and slurp and run, this becomes complicated. No. Maybe I should refuel though, and I don't burn out later. Alright, I'm gonna put you in my pocket. It's gonna be bouncy, okay? As I have to reach into my other pocket. Ooh, get a gooey packet. Slurp that down. It's gonna be disgusting. I'll pull you in my pocket. We'll keep going. I'll try not to walk. So I'll see you in a minute. Enjoy the darkness. Sliding in. Alright, y'all still in here? Found you. Congratulations. You've escaped. Fuck you, Cam. Oh, we're starting to get a really nice sunrise out here in Tokyo, so we've earned it. I haven't slipped my pace, which is actually very surprising because this week has been a bit of a show based on just poor sleeping rhythm, multiple trips to and from the hospital. I haven't gotten a good lift pretty much all week. Taking care of the kids, taking care of wife in labor, transitioning off my job into parental leave, pausing grad school for medical emergency, which is having a baby. Yeah, it's a lot. So I'm actually right now like elated just to see how well my body's tracking with today's run. Doesn't mean it's gonna be all cupcakes and rainbows. Okay, like right now my legs are like, oh crap, why is the terrain shifted uphill? It's trying to trick itself, be like, oh, you only got 12 steps till you're to the top. I'm like, don't turn around. Ooh, don't look behind you. Because, oh look, more hill. Yay! This sucks. It sucks, let's go. Luckily though, we hit 3.5 miles, turn around, hit the 4 mile mark. So we got 3 miles left. Obviously miles. So let's keep it clean. Keep it focused. Control the breathe. Brilliant. Let's go, y'all. We're in the work now, baby. Nice skyline. Nice brickwork. Love this bridge. I hate this bridge. Views are absolutely wonderful. I got that going for us. It's a good thing. We're about an hour in. Running strong. Friends, I'm gonna keep clunking along here. We're doing good. When we get to the bottom of this bridge, that's the original 2.5 mile marker, which means there'll be 2.5 miles left. But that means 4.5 miles down. That's huge. That's huge. hardest part is getting out to like 2 miles left. Just over that. Like the main goal is get to 2.5 miles. Because if we reach that, not 2.5, like less than 2 left. Because if we reach that, we're in the 3/4 of the way mark. Psychologically, that's just an easier place to be. It's still a lot of work. It's because you know, the first 3/4 of running behind you that are weighing you down. But there's always an energy of almost reaching the finish line, of that sense of completion you're gonna get for being faithful to a difficult process. So that can normally carry you through. You know, the same thing if you're running a half marathon or anything else that takes substantial time and effort. Unfortunately, in our society, and I struggle with it, we do get trained for these short dopamine hits, right? The ability to swipe from one thing to the next, one little piece of content to the next, always tricking the brain like, oh, maybe the next thing's good, maybe the next thing's good. And we can watch hours run by and get no real value from it. It doesn't do anything to progress us towards our personal goals or desires. It's not even restful, but we do it. So it means doing something like doing something like long distance running, or finding a strength and conditioning program that you can stick with. Oh, that becomes harder. Because if you work out and look in the mirror, you will see nothing. If you work out for 3 weeks and look in the mirror, you'll see nothing. Do it for a couple months, still probably nothing. So you have to find different metrics of success. You gotta count your reps. You gotta see how far you can run. You have to measure your overall wellness and activity levels. When we're purely working towards aesthetics, we're looking for a quick fix. I don't really think there's one out there. That's why I like the persistence of long distance running. Especially because the progress is slow. If I train for a half marathon, it takes 16 weeks for me to do it in a way that's safe for my body and build. And it's the dad bod program. It's my training protocol. I've run it multiple times now. I've gone through it twice. I keep refining it, making it better. It's wonderful. But it takes time. I'm on day 262 of exercising consistently, of lifting consistently with good form, challenging myself on distance. So actually, I'm quite amazed that I can hold this pace, run this far, injury-free, good form. This is all built over time. It takes time, patience, persistence. And it's not fun. Running isn't fun. It's fun when it's done. So, we're gonna stick with it. I just passed the 2.5 mile mark. How does that last? I passed the 2.5 mile marker coming out, but we gotta remember we ran all the way out to 3.5. And then we ran to 4. Oh shoot. Math, don't subtract. We had 2.5 left, which means we ran. We're over 4.5 miles in. It's pretty strong. We got sunrise coming behind us. which is nice. We got a river before us, which is nice. Got a good pace, good breathing. We hit a nasty energy packet a mile back, so got that carrying us. Might hit another one on the last mile, I don't know. We'll see. We got ducks, birds. Oh, that's a good one. Whew, good one today. Got a wife in the hospital, doing the best she can, waiting to hold my son. Gonna get over there as soon as I'm allowed. He's in the hospital policy. So life's progressing. The family frenzy's turning into a herd of 4 kids. It's pretty wild. Pretty wild, man. Wow. It's awesome. I gotta be careful at pace. I want to start running fast, which I won't make it home. But once I get up to them trees, that's the original 2-mile marker. But because I ran out to 3.5, it means I got 3.5 to the marker. Bonus 1.5 coming back. Puts us at a whopping 5 miles, baby. About 8 or 9 kilometers. And 2 miles left. And we are in the totally doable space. It's still hard, very challenging. There are many parts of my body that want to stop, that want to walk, that are sore, achy, tired. I just gotta tell myself, like, lock in. We've locked the pace in. We got the rhythm. It's the rhythm of the night. Doing good. Let's keep rocking. Hold the form. Hold the core. Get back in time to eat healthy and feed my kids donuts all at the same time. It's gonna be awesome. How is that box? Let's keep rocking. Now, we're still in a little bit of dread because we haven't truly crossed into the 3/4 left. I think realistically it's 1.75 miles remaining. So we're almost there. But all this doubt will start sinking in. Or, the desire to seek comfort. The desire to say, hey, you've been working really hard, but you did a really good job. Why don't we just walk it out? You got extra margin on time. We're in a great pace. You're gonna have to help your wife deliver a baby today. You don't want to sore. You don't want to work too hard. Like all that pat on the back garbage. Which, if I walk right now, this is still an exceptional workout for me. It still counts. Like, if I go and use this bathroom, take a pause, clear things out, think a little, grab the phone, and then from there, walk the last 1.75 miles. It's still great cardio. Actually, from a burn perspective, there are a lot of efficiencies to walking versus running. Because if you walk at a lower intensity for longer, you burn more. And if you run fast at a higher intensity, you burn out. Now, if you could run at a nice intensity, mod intensity, hold it, and go pretty far. That works in your favor. But also, if you add strength and conditioning to your program and you're overtraining on your runs and burning things out on your runs, you're not going to have the recovery to do your lifts well. So it's all about what you want. You want to be able to run far. You want to be able to jump high. You want to be able to push things that are heavy. So many ways to augment your training based on what you're looking for, what you need, also what pre-existing conditions or injuries you're trying to navigate. So, like I said earlier, if we bailed from this jogging pace and walked a little longer, walked a little farther, there's a mathematical point, an inflection point at which it can actually be more efficient. But for me, the long runs are about the distance, but also training the ability to hold a sustained pace of a low to moderate intensity. Because it's the end of the run and I'm fatigued, oh, that pace is creeping. I feel it. I feel my body wanting to run fast and pretend it will be over fast. And it's like an intentional choice to turn on my core, stiffen my back a little, lean forward, land with my feet, kick back, do all the right things, keep going. It's an intentional choice. And it's terrible. And that's the goal of my personal training right now, is to lean into it. The goal isn't maximizing fat burn, calories, none of that noise right now. The question is, can I find a locked-in pace and hold and sustain it well? And then let's see. Now right here, leave this marker 1.5 miles. Not 100% positive. I think at this juncture, this moment, we need to do 5.5 miles. Just pretty darn good at this pace. I feel like I'm floating around 13 minutes. It's brisk for me. For many of you, that would be uncomfortable to run with because I'm so slow. But for folks who are heavier, who still want to get out there, like, this is actually much faster than I did for my half marathon. Which makes sense, it's not the full distance. We're only doing 7 miles today. Half marathon is 13.1. Feeling it. This pace is hard. Pace is very hard. Let me do some breaths. Let's try locking form. Still got a ways to go, so I gotta stay in a persistent headspace. I gotta stay committed. I gotta tell myself it's worth waking up at 4. It's worth getting out here. It's worth staying in. Like I'm worth it. I don't need to disqualify myself from progress and health and fitness. I don't have to look at this season of life as an expected step back or aggression. It's like, nah, man, I want to keep getting better. And I can't. I keep trying. I keep showing up for myself. If I keep doing the impossible for me, it'll all be impossible. I'm just gonna stay in. Walk. Maybe that walk is so tempting. And now, friends, there are plenty of times when a walk makes sense. I try not to be toxic in how I coach. I'm doing what I know I'm capable of at day 262, or whatever the heck it is. I am actively fighting to engage my core. I have a good forward lean, kick my legs back, hold my pace, control my breathing, commit to the journey, because that's what is best for me today. But there have been many other runs and many other days where dropping to a slower jog or a walk was 100% appropriate and beneficial. You do not have to run every step of a long distance run. It is about the distance, the process, the form, the breathing, all the pieces coming together. And one of the things I'm afraid of, which is a really strange fear, like our brand is definitely making long distance running accessible to your average Joe. You know, folks who are heavier set, have pre-existing health conditions, prior injuries like knee, back, hips, like me, making it accessible, giving them an on-ramp towards progress. As I recorded, starting at day 0, a 16-week half marathon plan, that they could be with me every day as I trained up for a half marathon and have a running buddy virtually. What I'm afraid of is as I make progress and increase the gap between where I'm at and where people start, that it could make the journey inaccessible for folks. You know, if I get super cut, even though that's not a goal at all, right? Like, well, I feel like you could start with someone who's super cut. That's just setting you up for unrealistic expectations. That's why every workout that I live stream, except today, I try to put what day I'm on, because the day I'm on coordinates to the very first day of the Dad Bod Half Marathon journey. So that means in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, wherever I land, wherever my body lands, my pacing lands, that people can connect and see like, whoa, he stuck with it. That's where he's at. But that's also the journey and the time he's put in. But then let's look at the board before and after of just day 0 to day 112 and set the right expectations for someone who's really struggling. That's the balance I'm trying to navigate. It's tough. By the way, there's OG's son. We always say hi to each other because that's all we know how to say to each other. In the last run, he ran past me fast. And he was like, whoa, so yeah. Like, great. Amazing. So, he's an old guy out here staying healthy and fit. And let's motivate each other because it's the right thing to do. Past OG's son. Maybe he'll say hi. Japanese folk there, especially if they're old, they still get up. They still get up. Take care of themselves. So I am feeling a little minor, little discomfort in the lower back. It's under control. So it just means my form is degrading. Stop it. I'm gonna sprint. No, not sprint, but stride from bush to bush. And reset. Let's see how it works. 3, 2, 1. Stride. So stride, and sometimes for me, reset my form. Because I gotta turn on my abs. So I'm gonna stride to that far bush. And then go to power breaths. Let's see. One more push. Trust me. Tuck it in. Breathe. What's back there? Neato. Now trust me, I 100% did not want to do that. But my alternate to reset core is to stop, hit a couple deadlifts, and then come back up. But I think right now, stopping my pace, it'd be killer. We're at like 0.8 miles left, so it's really uphill to try to start over. But I needed to get form under control to finish well. This is me trying to get my form going. Almost there. 7 miles. 7 point. I had 2 miles probably. 8 miles left, so I got for about like 11, 12 kilometer workout today. So got about a kilometer left. Like, it's really home stretch feel. How is that? Super burnt. We got 3 rounds of stairs in front of us. Which, that should adequately screw up our pace. We're about 120 minutes into this thing. Dang, I ran fast today. Holy crap. I wrap this up at 7 miles. A minute 30. What is that? Are those 12 miles? Shoot. Alright, gotta tuck in the core. Squeeze the butt for this. Oh no. Oh yeah, that's a lot of no. Right there. Definitely gassed. Downhill. I want to take momentum from this. But I don't have any. The whisper talk part of the run. Frank. Okay. We got 0.7 miles in, so we gotta tell ourselves this is doable. This is 100% within our capability this morning. It doesn't make it fun. It doesn't make it desirable. But it's 100% with capability to press on. And we know where our recovery spot is. And we're not there yet. We still got 2 stairs sections. One's 6 flights high. One's 2 flights high. Small jog at the end of the second stairway. to get jelly legs. It's also probably a little bit of a fuel issue. I should probably hit a gooey packet, but there's so little left from a distance perspective. Let's see if I can power through on empty. Not the smartest. How can I keep plugging along here. Doing great. Whole pace. About half a mile left. So really short distance. We've already done 7. No. Okay. 6.5 miles. But we did 6.5. Really, honestly, an incredible pace. Very stage pace. So we're at almost 90 minutes of workout, which would be an hour and a half for 7 miles. That is wild. I don't even know how to divide that. 50. It's gotta be like, I'll divide it like, probably 13, 14 minute miles. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, we're getting the stairs, okay. We got 0.4 miles. Good progress has been made. We are not done. We have less than a kilometer left. But we are 100% feeling this. It's uncomfy. It's not fun. It'll be fun when it's done, people. Now the goal for the stairs, I'm gonna really try to control breathing. My goal is to maintain intensity level, not speed, which means I want my heart pushing as hard as it is now, but not climbing out of control. And when I hit the peak of the stairs, there's another hill climb. So I want to make sure I can get breathing under control, maintain intensity up the hill, and go from there. How good that was. So here we go. Oh, fooled me. Come on, push booty. Got sore knee, sore booty, but everything in safe limits. I shouldn't be laid up. Here we go. It's a core drive. Right here's hard. Keep pace. Still got it. Oh no. Gassed. Still gotta climb. That red sign. That's my plateau. We gotta get our breathing under control. Because we gotta have more stairs. This path, it's murder at the end from elevation. Went 8 miles. This went 8 miles, friends. Long flight of stairs. We hung with it. We didn't stop. We gotta get up and over the street and down in a little ways. Then we get our victory walk. Stay in it. I'm gonna try to breathe. Got our sunrise out over the bridge. It's beautiful. Hard earned. Oh, just gotta run down that street. You know what they say, adrenaline can only take you so far. So, what takes you farther than that? Right? It's all persistence. Commitment to the journey, patience, and a sense of value or worth. Your body is worth challenging, stretching, growing. Yeah, we did it. We did it, friends. Woo. That was a super hard, but very clean 7-mile run. Did that in an hour 40. Actually, hour 35. Wow. That's the fastest I've ever done 7. It's gotta be. It's lightning. If I got friends that can run a half marathon or a marathon at like 8-minute miles and crap. Like, why would you want to go that fast? It sounds miserable. Friends, thanks for being here. Excellent work. Hanging out with me in Tokyo. Had a very foggy, honestly cluttered mind this morning. My wife's labor and delivery. It's a hot mess. She's on day 5, being in the hospital. I'm getting in there as soon as I'm allowed to. Taking care of the kids, hanging out with the father-in-law. It's just like a lot of little tiny challenges. Father-in-law's great. Huge help. I'm doing the best I can to not feel like I need to entertain him. That's me working through my own crap. It's not his fault. Taking care of everyone around me. Wife, future baby number 4, father-in-law, even friends who have been supporting and helping. Other people are texting, kids. And the beautiful thing about doing these runs is it just gives me the space to chat, share. There's some good engagement, especially at the start of this run, is for me to talk through Felice's birthing experience. And she hasn't given birth yet, but it's just all the challenges. Running gives me space to process the really heavy, hard stuff because I put my body in a state of discomfort. So it allows my mind the freedom and focus to work through all the other crap that's inconvenient. When we kind of mask everything, hiding comfort, we can't really focus and process these deep, harder things going on. So for me, running is a bit of a spiritual practice or discipline coming from my faith context. Very similar to meditation. So I appreciate the time, but my bicycle awaits. I must complete the journey and go be a dad. I'll see y'all on the next one, friends. Thanks for